For years, you functioned as a human trash can for the narcissist. Every time they felt shame, anger, or insecurity, they dumped it on you, didn't they? They projected it, screamed it, and blamed you for it. This arrangement worked perfectly for them. It kept them clean and kept you dirty. But have you ever wondered what happens when the trash can walks away? The garbage does not stop coming, but now they have nowhere to put it. This leads to a phenomenon I call toxic backflow. Without you there to absorb their dysfunction, they are forced to swallow their own poison. They do not recover from this. They slowly rot from the inside out. And that is exactly what I'm going to talk about today. Apologies for calling you a trash can. That's not who you are. It was just to show you how a narcissist sees you. I'm Samir, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, we are going to talk about the permanent damage your absence causes to a narcissist. The narcissist collapse begins. The first thing that happens to them when you leave is they drown in their own unfiltered poison. To understand why they collapse when you leave, you have to realize that you are not just a partner. You are a human dialysis machine. A narcissist's internal world is toxic. It's filled with shame, self-loathing, and chaotic rage. Just like a body cannot survive without kidneys to filter the blood, a narcissist cannot survive without a scapegoat to filter their emotions. For the entire relationship, you were that filter. They poured their toxic shame into you, and you metabolized it because that's what you needed to do. You cried, you apologized, and you tried to fix it. You took their poison and gave them back clean energy. When you leave, and especially if you go full no contact, the machine shuts down completely. The next time they feel that burning shame at work, they turn to dump it on you, but you are nowhere to be found. They try to dump it on a new supply, but the new person may be a glass wall that reflects it right back, not to compare you with anybody else. So the poison has nowhere to go. It backflows into their own system. This is why you see the narcissist's life suddenly get weirdly dark after you leave. They develop sudden addictions, bizarre health problems, or extreme paranoia. They're not grieving you as you may think. They're going into this form of emotional septic shock. They are drowning in the very toxicity they used to force you to drink. Reality fractures without you. The second thing that happens to them is their reality fractures without its keeper. This outcome is subtle, but it drives them to the brink of insanity. You have to remember, a narcissist's memory is like a corrupted hard drive. They lie so much, even to themselves, that they do not actually know what is real anymore. They constantly rewrite history to make themselves the hero, or the victim, or the savior. For years, you were their external memory drive. You were the archivist. You held the timeline together. You were the one who said, "No, that happened on Tuesday," or "You promised to pay that bill last week." You provided the continuity that kept their fragmented mind anchored in reality. When you leave, you take the truth with you. Without their archivist, their reality begins to glitch. They start telling one lie to a friend, forgetting it, and telling a contradictory lie to a coworker. They start losing track of their own narrative. They do not recover from this because they do not have a core self to fall back on. They start to look erratic and unhinged to the outside world because the glue that held their story together is gone. They're left wandering through a maze of their own distortions with no map and no guide. The theater of their life goes dark. The third thing that happens to them is the theater of their life goes dark, and the audience vanishes, which is, their biggest nightmare. A relationship with a narcissist is never a partnership, is it? It is a stage play. They are the director, the star, and the scriptwriter, or that's how they would like to think. You were cast in the vital role of the supporting actor, the one who makes the hero look tall, covers up their flubbed lines, and claps the loudest. This was the shared fantasy, a bubble where they are a god, and you are lucky to serve them. When you walk off the set, the production does not just lose an actor. The entire theater goes dark. They can try to recast your role. They can find a new supply, but the new person, especially in the beginning, does not know the script. They miss their cues. They do not know exactly how to soothe the narcissist ego at 3:00 a.m. The magic of the delusion stops working. Now, this is the dangerous part for you. While they are standing in the dark theater, you are often still replaying the movie in your head. You're grieving the potential of the play. You are wondering, if I had just said the right line, maybe the ending would have been happy. This is the trap. You are grieving a character, not a person. Separating the actor from the role is the hardest part of recovery. Haunted by the unbreakable mirror. The fourth thing is, they are haunted by the only mirror they could not smash. Here's the thing a narcissist fears more than death. I've talked about it, so have other people. Exposure. They spend their entire lives building a fortress to hide the frightened, shameful thought aspect living inside them. But you have the blueprints to the fortress. When you leave, you become a phantom witness. You are the one person walking the earth who has seen the monster in the basement. Even if you never speak a word to them ever again, your mere existence terrorizes them. They never recover from this paranoia. When they are with the new supply pretending to be a saint, they feel a cold draft on their neck. It is the thought of you. They think, she knows, he knows. You represent the one thing they cannot control, the truth. You're a mirror that they cannot smash. This prevents them from ever fully relaxing again. They're constantly looking over their shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You do not have to haunt them. Your freedom is the ghost that never leaves. The invisible skeleton disintegrates. The fifth thing is the invisible skeleton of their life disintegrates. This is about a practical rot that sets in. Behind every successful narcissist, there's usually an exhausted empath acting as the invisible skeleton of their life. You were likely the executive manager. You managed the bills, the social calendar, the family feuds, and the public image. You smoothed things over when they offended the neighbors. You reminded them to take their meds. When you leave, you pull the skeleton out of the body. The flesh collapses. We see a slow, humiliating degradation in the narcissist's life. After the breakup, their house gets messy. Their finances get chaotic. Their health declines because no one is forcing them to eat vegetables or go to the doctor. They start looking this heavily. They do not recover from this because they're too arrogant to admit they need a brace. They refuse to say, I don't know how to do this alone. So they just let it rot. Their carefully curated empire turns into a ruin because the caretaker is completely gone. A new perspective on your pain. I want to leave you with a different perspective on your pain. These consequences may sound like revenge, but it's actually physics. They used you as a crutch, a filter, and a servant. When you removed yourself, gravity took over. The collapse you are seeing is not something you did to them. It is simply what happens when a parasite loses its host. That is nature. You did not ask to be strong enough to survive this. You just wanted to be loved. But the prize of your survival was realizing that you were never the weak one. They are collapsing because they are empty. You are rising because you are, and always were, the source. Conclusion: your journey to healing. They won't recover from losing you, but you are just getting started. And with that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin.